Hi guys, welcome to this update video this afternoon. I really do hope you're doing amazing. So we are going to be talking about this disturbance. It's been marked for several days now, and the formation chance hasn't increased much for it since it was first marked and up until now. So we're going to be talking about it. It's likely to develop as we head into later this week and will likely become a named system down the road. So let's get into the details. Okay guys, here we go. Now as we look at these satellite imagery, we can definitely see a lot of moisture and instability offshore the eastern United States down to parts of South Florida and the northern Bahamas. Even for the vicinity of Cuba, there's been some thunderstorm activity popping up. Likewise, as we head down to Panama and parts of northern South America. And then there is the tropical wave that we're going to be watching over the coming days for some development. It's just about coming off of the African coast now, and it is producing quite a bit of showers and thunderstorms, a pretty disorganized system, and it is unlikely that we will see imminent development, meaning over maybe the next 2 or 3 days or so. But as we head into later this week, conditions will likely get a lot more favorable for the system to get itself together. So we're going to continue talking about it in a bit of detail, but zooming in on the Caribbean here, we can see, as I mentioned, those thunderstorms popping up in parts of Cuba, even in sections of western Jamaica as well, over towards parts of Mexico, and even for sections of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico, there's been some activity. For others, it's been quite dry, quite sunny, quite hot. And emphasis on the hot. It's been so hot lately, guys, for certain. And whenever we have these periods of these heavy downpours and thunderstorms, or things kind of get a bit cooler in the afternoon, it is well needed. It is such a relief from the heat that we're experiencing on a daily. And as of right now, things are pretty calm in the main development region. We have some more stable atmospheric conditions out there, so we kind of find that there's not a whole lot happening. As it relates to rainfall activity over the next day or so, could see some additional downpours and thunderstorms in sections of Florida, the northern Bahamas, even going to Cuba and sections of Mexico and Central America as well. Down to northern South America, it could be a similar story. And then some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the Lesser Antilles, going to Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Jamaica. But things will likely be a bit more on the drier side for sections of the Cayman Islands, ABC Islands, and the Virgin Islands as well. So not a whole lot of rainfall over the next day or so. Going back to this tropical disturbance here, we can see the formation chance is at a low 30%. So not looking at a high chance of development. However, as the system makes its way generally to the west and then eventually to the west-northwest, we'll likely see an increase in this chance. As I mentioned, conditions should get a bit more conducive to allow for development to take place. And speaking of, let's go ahead and look at that. First up, we have that dry air map. Ahead of the system, there's not a whole lot of dry air within this area, but it's definitely out there for sure. And it is a main inhibitor in terms of development, since it makes the environment more stable. And it is instability that helps to result in all that shower and thunderstorm activity that we tend to observe. So the dry air ahead of it doesn't look to be very, very plentiful to actually prevent eventual development of the system. Sea surface temperatures are well on their way. Very warm waters all the way from Africa going to the western Atlantic. We see 27, 28, 29, 30 degrees Celsius. So this is definitely favorable to allow for some intensification. And normally temperatures at least 26 degrees Celsius or higher would be what tropical cyclones would preferably take advantage of in terms of development and intensification. Of course, there are other factors out there as well, such as those upper level winds. Weaker upper level winds allow for less interference as these systems develop, but stronger upper level winds help to limit development and intensification of these systems. And in terms of what our models have to show, so let's take a look at that here. We have the GFS model, and this graphic that we are taking a look at is representative of the precipitation rate, which is marked by those different shades of greens. And those black squiggly lines are called isobars, which join areas of equal atmospheric pressure. What we're looking for is those isobars in a circular manner, and the more of those lines we see, especially being compact, is a sign of intensification. there we have the time. So as we're going to be heading into Thursday of this week, we can see that whole bunch of moisture southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Nothing defined. And there we have that high pressure area up north, or steering mechanism. A stronger high pushes these systems more west. So we'll have a pretty dominant high throughout the week. And then as we head to the weekend, though, GFS has it intensifying at a rather fast rate. Shows the system definitely as a tropical storm, and we're seeing more of those isobars being compact, indicating that, hey, we could definitely be seeing some intensification at that point. And with the high pressure area displacing a bit to the east and a bit of a break in it, we would start to have a sort of a northwestward track. And the system looks to be weakening, maybe moving into a region of, say, drier air, or just generally unfavorable conditions as we head into Monday of next week. So GFS would have the system missing the Caribbean. Let's look at Euro. Euro does not show a whole bunch of development through the week, but as we head to the end of the week, Saturday, we can see this cluster here of all these different shadings indicating some rainfall activity. And then as we head into next week, go into Wednesday, the 10th of September, we see a pretty defined tropical storm that Euro is forecasting, or potentially a weak hurricane well offshore the Lesser Antilles. And eventually it has a system intensifying as it moves up and curve around that area of high pressure. So the high pressure area would be displaced to the east, and there would be a weakening in this area here to allow the system to actually make a curve. But there it shows what appears to be another tropical wave coming off of Africa and attempting to get itself together. So pretty interesting there, but not surprising, as we're going to be headed into the peak of the hurricane season. And then as it relates to the ICON model, ICON does not go as far compared to GFS and Euro. Headed to Friday the 5th of September, there it is definitely showing that solid dominant area of high pressure sitting over the tropical Atlantic, and what appears to be a tropical storm developing at that point. And it doesn't go as far out compared to GFS and Euro, but by Sunday the 7th of the month, September, we can see that it has that system moving generally west, not showing much of a change in terms of the intensity, maybe some slight strengthening there. So we definitely have to wait and see what eventually happens, but for the most part, models have been favoring the system making a curve up and out. It will all depend on that area of high pressure, if it's going to be displaced, and also the rate of intensification of the system will also come into play in regards to that as well. So it's definitely one that we'll be watching throughout the week. I know I haven't made an update video in 3 days now, but as I previously had mentioned, I'm going to keep you posted as necessary. So there hasn't been any major change the past couple of days, so there wasn't necessarily a huge reason to be on here, but I wanted to bring you up to speed with what's going on right now, seeing that we have that disturbance coming off of the African coast. So I'll keep you posted through the week, guys, and that is it for today. So I do hope you found this update to be informative. However, if you have any questions, you can feel free to drop them in the comments below. I will get to you when I can. And remember to always be weatherwise.